Good evening and welcome to the fastest half hour in the cryptid world, This Week in Bigfoot, the news show that scours the internet and the Bigfoot community each and every week to bring you the people, places, and stories making headlines around the Bigfoot world. Then we take it and wrap it up in a nice, neat 30-minute package. If it has to do with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, or the Wildman, we've got it all covered. And trust me, it was another busy week around here, that's for sure. Is the Bigfoot community broken? Tonight, we'll take a look at the roadblocks currently preventing science or anyone else from taking the subject too seriously. Mike Luci has another Bigfoot video for us, and he's going to break it down, this one from the Badger State. Snowwalker kicks down his latest rant in a brand new 2 minutes with, and some Bigfoot prints are found outside a small town in Arkansas. These stories and a whole lot more, so you better buckle up and keep your hands inside the car, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. Let's go.
911, what are you reporting?
He's walking upright like a man.
With someone or something crawling around out here.
But he went back up the mountain.
Get somebody out there.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know. He's all black and big. He is big.
The Bigfoot community, also known as Sasquatch enthusiasts, has captivated the imagination of many for decades. While some wholeheartedly believe that Bigfoot is an undiscovered species of primate or interdimensional time traveler, others maintain a healthy skepticism about its existence. However, the persistent absence of scientific evidence, combined with confirmation biases and the allure of sensationalism, raises the question, is the Bigfoot community broken? One of the challenges facing the Bigfoot community is the tendency to repeat the same actions and expect different results. Despite years of dedicated searching and research and investigations, conclusive evidence of Bigfoot's existence has remained elusive. This repetition may stem from confirmation biases, where enthusiasts or believers interpret information in a way that confirms their pre-existing beliefs, rather than objectively analyzing the evidence. Think footprints, think tree structures.
Look at that!
Furthermore, the desire for notoriety and sensationalism within the Bigfoot community has perpetuated a cycle of excitement, disappointment. Some believers often yearn for attention and in turn crave extraordinary evidence, leading to a heightened sensitivity to any potential sightings or encounters. Unfortunately, this eagerness all too often leads to exaggeration, fabrication, and the spread of misinformation, hindering the community's credibility even further. Consequences of this behavior has contributed to the fractured image of the Bigfoot community as a whole. Many skeptics and scientists dismiss enthusiasts and believers as individuals clinging to myths or false information, rather than taking them seriously as dedicated researchers. The lack of rigorous scientific analysis and adherence to objective methodologies further undermines the community's reputation. In the world of social media, the Bigfoot community faces additional challenges. While platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram have provided means for witnesses and believers to share their experiences and evidence, it has also become a breeding ground for hostility and extremism on both sides. Some individuals within the Bigfoot community have resorted to making idle threats or even legal action against those who oppose or express skepticism towards their beliefs. Here are a few examples that were sent to me for this piece. Now, for obvious reasons, I've left the profile names off of here, but trust me, these are real-world communications between two individuals on Facebook Messenger that are in the Bigfoot community. One is skeptic, not a troll, but a skeptic, and someone so embedded in their confirmation biases, they not only threaten to take legal action, but they also threaten to ruin the person's personal life, simply for not agreeing with what they were saying. Now, these threats and legal actions not only create a hostile environment, but they also drive a wedge between the two camps. Instead of fostering healthy discussions and constructive debates, this behavior hinders the progress even further and tarnishes the reputation of an already damaged Bigfoot community. Moreover, the proliferation of social media algorithms can contribute to this problem as well. These algorithms are designed to show users content that aligns with their personal interests and beliefs, creating echo chambers, where personal confirmation biases are reinforced. As a result, dissenting voices and critical perspectives may be silenced, hindering the community's ability to engage in open and objective discussions. To overcome these challenges, the Bigfoot community must recognize the importance of respectful dialogue and constructive engagement. I'm going to say that again. The Bigfoot community must recognize the importance of respectful dialogue and constructive engagement. Let that sink in. It's now more important than ever to foster an environment that encourages critical thinking, rigorous analysis, and the incorporation of scientific methodologies. By embracing diversity of opinions and actively addressing the issues of trolling, bickering, or making idle threats, the community can work towards rebuilding trust and credibility. Now, You may have noticed by now that here on This Week in Bigfoot, we have carefully aligned ourselves with both skeptics and believers alike. And there's a very good reason for this. It's very simple, in fact. Both camps must be heard from and respected in order for us to report the news fairly and unbiased. After all, it is our motto, be informed, not biased. In conclusion, the Bigfoot community faces some serious challenges, and these challenges have raised doubts about its effectiveness and credibility. To move forward, the community must strive for open dialogue and respect opposing views, no matter what side of the fence a person sits on, and reinforce a commitment to rigorous scientific investigation. Only through these efforts can the community repair its fractured image and regain the trust of the scientific community at large. After all, we should all be searching for the same thing, and that's the truth. So take one step back, take a deep breath, and grow up.
All right, so is it possible those wood knocks that so many of us believe Squatches are making aren't even wood knocks after all? What if those noises, if they are in fact coming from a Squatch, are actually some form of clapping or chest thumping, maybe even a type of vocal? Let me show you what I mean. This video has been making rounds in Bigfoot Facebook groups. At first glance, the casual viewer would only just see a chimpanzee clapping and nothing more. But if you watch this with a little Bigfoot on the brain, it could potentially get you thinking. Some people in the comments argue those claps the chimp made sounded deep enough to come off as a knock-like sound. Now, its claps do seem to get deeper and knockier as it moves closer to the wall, which could be a result of the claps ringing off of it, their echoes. I mean, look, I'm by no means well-versed in acoustic studies, but I think that's a detail definitely worth noting. Here's another example. Just like the chimpanzee claps, some of these chest thumps sound pretty deep in some parts, despite their rapid-fire-like pace. But just think about how those clips or chest thumps would sound if they were made by something, say, much larger, smarter, and with bigger hands. Maybe not nearly as fast as in those gorilla clips, but you get the idea. Now, on the possibility of knocks potentially being some type of vocalization, well, we actually touched on that topic at one point. Back when I co-hosted From Behind Tall Trees, we had Gary Robusto of the New York Bigfoot Society on one episode who had this to say.
My opinion about tree knocking is this. It's not a tree knock at all. It's a vocal. I believe it's a vocal. Why do I believe it's a vocal? When we look at they either go like that, like a cluck sound, or a throat vocal, because when we look at the largest mammals and primates and everything on the planet, okay, what do elephants do? They start slamming their feet into the ground. Another elephant can, so that's echo vibration, echolocation, right? Another elephant can feel that miles away. Miles. That's fact. Whales, they communicate through echolocation. Dolphins, echolocation. Lions put out a roar that actually, they look like they're yawning. They're not yawning at all. They're actually putting out a vocal that humans can't hear, but other lions can hear. Okay? A Bigfoot because a Bigfoot would be if we believe it's an ape or a human, right? It would be the largest primate that we know. So if you look at the size of their head, their mandibles, their jaws, their vocal boxes, everything about them is so large that when you go, they would be able to make it even louder than we can. Okay? And I think that's why you get the same exact sound every single time.
So could these wood knocks or knocking sounds, if they are actually being made by Squatches, not even be made in the way that we think? Could they, in fact, actually be claps, chest thumps, or vocalizations? Maybe even all three? To my knowledge, I haven't heard of anyone witnessing a Squatch make these sounds, so I guess nothing's off the table. But definitely let us know where you stand on this theory. And so you have something to compare those primate sounds with. I'll close this one out by playing some audio clips of a few possible knocks I caught on some of my outings in the field.
You heard?
Today's episode of This Week in Bigfoot is sponsored by Got Knockers Apparel and Clothing. From hoodies and caps to soaps, keychains, and bats, Got Knockers has everything you need to show your love of Bigfoot. For more information and to shop their items, be sure to visit the Got Knockers page on Facebook at facebook.com/Got Knockers. Hey, Got Knockers? A Bigfoot believer is claiming to have found possible evidence of the elusive creature in the middle of Arkansas after odd-looking footprints measuring 16 inches were found pressed into mud and soil. Father of two, Chase Whaley, posted in the Bigfoot Believers Facebook group that he may have found evidence of Bigfoot in Pike County, Arkansas. Whaley shared several photos of the footprints nearly twice the size of his own last week and joked, "We either got us a Bigfoot or a shoeless meth head down at the dump. Either way, he's a biggin." Whaley claims the footprints were located next to a dumpster west of the town Murfreesboro, which has a population of less than 1,500. Now, what I found refreshing about this post is that there was actually more than one print found and photoed. All too many times you see a picture online of a single print claiming that it's from a Bigfoot, when we all know there should be more than one print. Really, think about it. And even more impressive was the size of the print. Measuring right around 16 inches from heel to toe puts it 2 sizes larger than Shaquille O'Neal's size 22 at a massive size 24 men's shoe. Now, Whaley did a fairly good job of documenting the track's locations and even casting what was most likely the best impression. And there were even prints found of both the left and right foot. So far, so good. But are these the prints of something weighing over 350 pounds? Look at the raccoon prints right next to it. Are they deep enough, and is there enough ground disturbance? I poked around and couldn't find any reported sightings at all from Pike County in the BFRO or NAWAC databases. The closest thing I could find was from neighboring Clark County, and that was back in 1994. Now, what that means in regards to these prints or Chase's photos, that's for you to decide. It was nice to see that Chase's Facebook page was that of a normal dad. It wasn't riddled with Bigfoot photos and Bigfoot evidence. And as far as I could tell, this was his first evidence claim on the Bigfoot Believers group. So there is that. So take another look at some of the more impressive photos, and as usual, let us know what you think in the comment section.
All right, big, blurry, and beautiful. A quintessential blob squatch. But this one has a backstory. I found this photo on the Bigfoot subreddit, which was posted on June 20th. It's actually a still shot from this footage that was originally posted in the Cryptid subreddit on June 8th. The Redditor, who goes by username justme_Chris, claims it was taken by his father in April 2020 at Storrs Lake in Rock County, Wisconsin. Unfortunately, the editor, who we'll refer to as Chris moving forward, says his father has since passed on, but could never identify the figure he caught on camera. Now, there are 2 eyebrow-raising details here. First, I'm sure you're wondering why on earth the filmer didn't zoom in. Well, Chris says his father was just one of those old folks who didn't know how to work a phone camera. He also says his father often frequented the area to hike and would usually bring binoculars, but happened to forget them this time. As you can see on this lake survey map, Storrs Lake isn't particularly deep. And if those reeds or grass where the figure's standing is within the shoreline, then it's probably no more than in 1 to 2 feet of water. It's almost impossible to tell what type of vegetation that is, but I did reach out to the Wisconsin DNR in that area, who can hopefully get me more information. My figuring is we potentially identify what type of grass or reeds those are, learn how tall they can grow, use that to get a height estimate in our figure. Now, lots of commenters said this could be a bear. Although Chris says the figure seems to walk on its hind legs before dropping on all fours, although you don't see that in the footage, Here's why we shouldn't jump to that conclusion just yet. This map here shows black bear territory in Wisconsin, and Rock County, as you can see, is in a part of the state where black bears are considered transient. Storrs Lake is nestled near 2 intersecting main roads and in a fairly developed area. It mostly consists of farmland and has the town of Janesville about 5 miles to the west-southwest of it, which supports a population of over 65,000. There are some nearby marshes and bogs, all of which seem to be loosely connected by some greenery patches and narrow waterways. And while these could theoretically serve as potential travel routes for something like a Squatch, we still have to question why one would just be standing out there in the open like that and in broad daylight, no less. I also found no other reports coming out of Rock County or nearby areas. While we don't have anything definitive to confirm the figure's identity, what little we have to work with doesn't quite help close the gap. So we'll let you decide if what we have here is a fact or hoax.
All right, I can tell by the clock on the wall, it's once again that time, part of the show that's fast becoming a fan favorite. I don't know how he does it each and every week. It's the part of the show where we give content creator Michael Merchant, aka Snowwalker Prime, screen time to speak his mind and get what's ever bothering him off his chest. We call it 2 Minutes With.
Echo Station 3PA. Spotted an aerial walker. Aerial walker. Echo Station 3PA. We have spotted an aerial walker. Aerial walkers on the North Ridge.
It's so exciting. Have you heard the news?
Did someone find Bigfoot in some burnt toast?
You know the Patterson footage?
From 1967, really blurry, 16 millimeter.
They've enhanced it. It's amazing. You can see Bigfoot's eyelashes.
You do know that when they use AI enhancement, it adds information.
Yeah, I know. It's brand new. It's crystal clear. You can see Bigfoot's eyelashes.
Find it a little strange that the eyelashes weren't in the original blurry photo?
I know, that's why they used AI to enhance it. You can see his eyelashes.
The eyelashes weren't there to begin with.
I know, exactly. Finally, you and I see eye to eye.
I think you're totally missing the point. It adds information.
Yeah, if you look really close, you can see the eyelashes.
Look, let's enhance it again.
Look, at the base of the eyelashes.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I should have known better than to show you. You're so critical.
Not true. I'm just trying to point out that you can't get information that's not there.
Yeah, but you can...
I know. You can see his eyelashes.
It's amazing.
Look, you could continue to do this and turn it into an electron microscope. It doesn't mean the information was originally there. Those pixels didn't originally exist. They've been created by complex algorithms and sophisticated AI programs.
And it's a beautiful thing. It's amazing.
Let's see the skeptics debunk this. Crystal clear photos of Patty. It's AI generated. It's artwork. AI artwork. It's not real data. So if the information isn't there, the AI program just makes it up. You understand?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So if we took a picture and enhanced it, would you be able to see clinging to the base of the eyelashes Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, sure, if he was there.
No, you don't understand. It's made up information.
Well, how would it know that Arnold Schwarzenegger was there?
It wouldn't. That's the whole point. It makes it up.
So it enhances it. It's adding information that's not there.
Yeah, but look how clear it is. That's what the program's designed to do, silly.
Yeah, and it does a fantastic job of it. We should all be thankful we now have this crystal clear, accurate photo of Patty.
Look, it's no different than if an artist guesstimated what was there and painted in the details.
I know.
Except it's AI doing it. Isn't it cool?
Talking to you is kind of like talking to a cardboard box.
But a cardboard box doesn't have an enhanced image of Patty.
You don't have one either. You've got made up information.
That looks beautiful. I'm the first. No one else has done it.
I don't know if that's something to be proud of.
Sounds like a jealous hater to me of my pristine evidence that you don't have.
With your lack of ability to process information. Now you're just being mean. Do you think that if Arnold Schwarzenegger was swimming about in the vitreous fluid of Patty's eyeball, that we'd be able to see him? Well, sure, if you enhanced it.
Tonight's edition of This Week in Bigfoot is sponsored by Broken Branch Designs. From outerwear and clothing to home and garden decor, Broken Branch Designs has everything to do with Sasquatch. For more information, visit brokenbranchdesignsllc.com.
All right, I found this one on Instagram not too long ago. I'm sure some of you have already seen this video floating around on Insta, YouTube, and Facebook. We're not going to spend too much time on this one because there really isn't anything to say that hasn't already been said about it. Our friend, the Squatch detective, Steve Culls, put a pretty candid breakdown together of the video and had this to say about it.
Okay, from the video, you can clearly see that this is a fake. Now, let's look at reasons why. Number one, look at the nose on that thing. Look at the profile of the nose. Bigfoots are flat-nosed. Two, the lifeless hand. I mean, what walks around with its palms up. They're basically just extension hands. That's all that, and that's the reason why it has the Popeye arms, because that's how you control the movement of the elbow and the hands. But the hands are not animated nor real. Very clearly, this is a fake.
And just to top that off, here are some more still shots of the so-called subject. It's eerily reminiscent of a grainy N64 character. To me, this one sort of looks like a mix between Donkey Kong and one of those Gorons from the Zelda games, but I digress. I only bring this up because we're going to continue seeing more of these videos and images, especially with how much more sophisticated technologies like AI and CGI are becoming. Many believe we're nearing a point where hoax photos and videos could be indistinguishable from something that's possibly the real deal. Some even say we're already there and that the waters have already been muddied. I mean, if there's people out there who believe this footage is real, think about how bad it could get as these technologies evolve. Either way, it's so important to talk about footage like this because it helps us keep up with the capabilities of AI and CGI, which in turn lessens our chances of being outsmarted.
If you caught episode 14 a few weeks ago on This Week in Bigfoot, then you were informally introduced to Abel Cunningham from 603 Bigfoot in the podcast and live stream segment of the show. And since that episode aired, we have received several requests for the world's leading Bigfoot scientist to make another appearance on This Week in Bigfoot. So, in order to appease our viewers, we reached out to his camp and the good doctor was happy to oblige. So here he is once again, teaching us a valuable lesson on Bigfoot safety. Pay attention.
Hey everyone, Dr. Abel Cunningham here, the world's leading Bigfoot scientist, and I'm here today to bring your attention to a very important issue, and that issue is Bigfoot safety. That's right, Bigfoot safety. So if you're watching this video, you are likely familiar with the missing 411 phenomenon, and if you're familiar with the missing 411 phenomenon, you're likely familiar with the fact that Bigfoot is responsible for a lot of those missing person cases. That's right. Bigfoot has been snatching people in national parks, and the National Park Service refuses to investigate. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, why else would people go missing when they're outside, when they're near rocks, trees, and water? The only logical explanation is Bigfoot. So, well, DP Dave Politis, he's been the only one bringing awareness to this issue ever since he lost his job for committing fraud as a police officer. Ever since then, he's been bringing awareness to this important issue. But we at 603 Bigfoot, we're here to take a different approach, and that approach is prevention. We want to stop Bigfoot from snatching people in the first place. And that's why we've introduced the Bigfoot Awareness, Resistance, and Education Program. It's a program designed to help people stay out of the hands of aggressive Bigfoots. And as you can see, bear, B stands for Bigfoot, obviously. Next we have A, that's for awareness, essentially making people aware of the dangers of aggressive Bigfoots, especially in national parks and especially near rocks and trees. And next we have R, resistance. That's, how to fight back in the case of a Bigfoot attack, using any means necessary. And then lastly, we have E for education. how do we educate people how to avoid putting themselves in a dangerous situation to begin with, such as, not going outside, not being near trees, rocks, or water. So if you would like to learn more about the Bigfoot Awareness, Resistance, and Education Program, you can find out more on our website. We're happy to host seminars in your region. And one of the things I'm most proud of is since we rolled out bear in my home state of New Hampshire, there have been 0 reported Bigfoot attacks on people in New Hampshire. And that's a safety record that we at 603 Bigfoot are very proud of. So thank you for listening, and stay safe from Bigfoot.
It's time to catch up to speed on a couple of recent Bigfoot podcasts and live streams. First up and new to the show, it's the Caffeinated Cryptid with Bobby Dizzle. In this latest upload from Bobby, he takes a deep dive with the one and only Bigfoot researcher Dean Gleason, director of Seaway Valley Bigfoot Research. Let's check it out.
As I said, I need backup here, and I need it here right now. And then the next thing he heard, the guy came on and says, "Where is everybody?" And he heard gunfire in the background. And then somebody else came on and said, "Radio silence, don't anybody talk." So he said he thought they had cornered the guys. So he went and turned the TV on and was watching the coverage on TV, and there was nothing about that they had any leads where these guys were or whether the investigation was going anywhere. And it was actually almost a week later when they finally got both of them. So he ran into this gentleman that he'd heard on the radio, and he said to him, "Hey, come on, it's me. Tell me what was going on." And he said, "Well," he goes, "they told us not to tell anybody." He goes, "But we killed 2 Bigfoot."
What?
That's what he told me they told him. They were coming through the woods. They thought they were the 2 escapees. They ordered them to halt. They didn't halt, so they opened fire on them. And when the smoke cleared, they had killed 2 Bigfoot. And we have a local military base up here. He said they brought a helicopter in, they flew them out of there, and they told everybody to keep their mouth shut.
Next up, it's the KBRO, Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization. Here, the team interviews a veteran who had a Bigfoot sighting near Fort Hood, Texas. Let's check it out.
We was going around a curve, and about a quarter mile up the road, my driver stopped. He said, "Sergeant, did you see that?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "That was not no bear." I said, "Yeah, okay." So going up to where it crossed and stopped. So we went on up to where this creature, bear, or whatever, crossed. I got M16, got out of the passenger side. I looked down and I seen footprints at least 16, 17 inches long. And I got out and went towards where the footprints went off into the woods, is the direction it went to. So I tracked this thing, went off into the woods a little bit down a ravine, and I started smelling something putrid, like a wet dead deer or kind of a skunky smell. And so I continued to follow the tracks or path where I thought it was going. And I heard a scream, kind of a scream growl, like it was nothing I'd never heard before in the woods. And I went on up about 200 or 300 more feet, and a big tree just toppled over. And at that point, I was scared, so I didn't want to go any further. I don't know what it was. The driver says it was a Bigfoot because he was from Fort Hood, Texas, from that area. And he told me, he said, that was probably a Bigfoot.
In the third slot this week, Blurry Creatures Podcast, episode 175, The Baxter Bigfoot, a Mike Luci recommendation. In this one from the Spotify platform, a self-proclaimed local legend and Tennessee native from the town of Baxter recorded one of the best Bigfoot videos of the last few years. The video he shot from his backyard went viral and set the internet on fire. At least that's what it says in the clip's description. This is the first time he's told his story. Let's check it out.
It helps give our listeners some context that this is what happens to most people when they see Bigfoot. It doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you've been in the woods your whole life, if you got a gun in your hand.
Yeah.
It terrifies people because you're seeing something that shouldn't be there, or it's out of myth and legend, right?
It wasn't that I was like scared, panicking, whatever, but it's not that I felt threatened. I should say I did not feel threatened in any way, but seeing it, I was scared.
Was it looking at you?
It was looking in my direction. I mean, I was looking at it. It was looking at me, but I didn't feel threatened. It was just weird seeing something in your backyard that's normally not there and has arms 8 feet wide.
It's wild. I wonder, like, we get stories and hear stories about, hunters, lining these up in a scope and seeing it and feeling like it's almost too human to take a shot.
The 4th of July is right around the corner, and Bigfoot conferences continue to draw in record crowds from coast to coast. That being said, we all know there's still only one guy we all turn to keep us up to speed on the who's, the what's, and the where's, and that's Chuck Larson with another great show in this week's Spotlight.
Bigfoot returns. July 16th, East Liverpool, Ohio. Conference Spotlight.
The Friends of Beaver Creek State Park at Pioneer Village present Bigfoot Returns, Sunday, July 16th, at the Beaver Creek State Park in East Liverpool, Ohio. The day kicks off with a pancake breakfast at 8 a.m. with boots on the ground research and investigator presentations from noon to 5. This year's speakers include Jay Fouch from Coshocton County Bigfoot, field researcher Johnny Freeman, the Cryptovania team, and more. There will be plenty of Bigfoot crafts and food on site, and camping is free Friday and Saturday. For more information and a complete list of speakers, visit the event's official Facebook page. And that's this week's Conference Spotlight. Brendon, take us out.
All right, folks, it looks like we are once again all out of time for this week. I'd like to thank you for watching and remind you to like and share everything we do here at the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective. Tell your friends. And if you have any questions or comments or maybe a story for the show, you can always drop us a line at thisweekinbigfootnewscast@gmail.com. So, until next week, for Mike Luci and Chuck Larson, I'm Brendon Brown, reminding you that when it comes to getting your Bigfoot news, be informed, not biased. Take care. See you next week.